Welcome to PodcastOne. We hope you'll support our sponsors who bring you these podcasts absolutely free and with limited interruptions. And of course, we appreciate you listening to this show, which will get started in just a second. The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I'm coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. I got a hell of a podcast for you now that you've hit the download button and your eardrums are ringing because you can hear my voice. I got WWE Superstar, former Raw Women's Champion, World Champion, Bayley on the show today. And she will be on the show next Tuesday as well because this is a two-part podcast. She came over, we started shooting the breeze, talking about the business of pro wrestling, all kinds of stuff, even in the back part of the conversation on part 2 next Tuesday. We talk about her epic match with the legit boss, Sasha Banks, at NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. And man, what fun that was, because that is one of my favorite matches in the last few years. Anyway, I was sitting here at the house, and all of a sudden I looked down, and I got a text message, a direct message, some kind of message, and it was Bayley. And she says, "Where can I find your beer?" So I texted her back. I said, "Are you in L.A.?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "What are you doing here?" And she said she came down early to work on some CrossFit activities with her coach. She was looking for the Broken Skull IPA to have a beer afterwards. So I told her where she could get the Broken Skull IPA. So I sent her another text message and I said, "Hey, no pressure. Do you have time to do a podcast?" And she texted me back, "Well, let me think about it." Yes. Anyway, I got on the phone with Bayley. We started talking about what would work for her time schedule and what would work for mine. And she came over, and man, it was good to see her. Came over here live and in living color. Looked fantastic out there working out, doing a CrossFit grind, traveling all over the world, and just having a blast. And it was a breath of fresh air to talk to her and just shoot the breeze with her. I had a lot of fun. Now, Bayley, I'm glad you reached out to me. It was a pleasure talking to you. And we'll see if Bayley likes the Broken Skull IPA later on in the podcast. Again, I am talking to Bayley today and next week on the Family Friendly Show. Here's one spoiler or a heads up or warning. I dropped one single cuss word when we're talking about a building, the San Francisco Cow Palace. So there's one cuss word in this entire Family Friendly episode. And you got to use a cuss word to describe that building. So I did. But those of you with delicate ears, there's one word coming at you. But other than that, it is indeed family friendly. Talking with the class act, that is Bayley. And we had a lot of fun. She got a chance to come over here to 316 Gimmick Street, over there at the other place. I got painters over there. I got some new lights being put in. That's going to be, I guess that's going to be my place where I start recording the podcast. And that place is under construction, so we just kind of cobbled together a little setup and had our conversation. And I'll be damned, last night, as I record this podcast, it is Monday afternoon. Right now, WWE is getting ready to go live in about 1 hour at the Staples Center here in Los Angeles. There's been word on the street on my Twitter account on all the sheets that Stone Cold Steve Austin has indeed been spotted at the Staples Center. Well, I can vouch for you, or I can clarify that right now. If somebody thought they spotted me, they was wrong. I'm at 316 Gimmick Street in Marina del Rey. Staples Center is about 20 miles from my house. I ain't nowhere in sight. I ain't wearing camo. You can't see me because I ain't there. I'm here at the house, laying down and open for this damn podcast. But anyway, back to the story. Because all the WWE Superstars are coming into town, and Bayley came in early to visit her family and friends and get her CrossFit workouts in, man, I'd been wanting to talk to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson for a long-ass time. Those guys had a hell of a damn run over there at New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're having a hell of a run over here in WWE. They were coming through, and I tell you what, Carl Anderson came in from Cincinnati. His flight was on time. Luke Gallows was leaving out of Atlanta GL, the ATL, and I tell you what, his schedule, his whole entire trip got cattywampus sideways and scrambled up, and he got delayed by a long time. Those guys were going to come over last night, and we were going to go over there to 317 Gimmick Street. I had all my neon clocks, had my neon beer signs going. I had a couple of Broken Skull IPAs in the refrigerator. I even cut back on my calories during the day so I could jump off this eating regimen for one night to have a couple of shots of whiskey with those guys as we shot the breeze and recorded an epic session of audio whoop-ass. But it turns out Luke Gallows was going to get in so damn late, we decided we would postpone the podcast until next time. I believe they're coming back maybe sometime in September. Hopefully I'll be able to get in with those guys at that time. There's some, I was really looking forward to talking to those guys. We'll get it done on another day. And there's some people coming in from the New Japan pro wrestling scene. Obviously, I just talked to Josh Barnett a few weeks ago. Jumpin' Jim Ross, white meat babyface from Norman, Oklahoma, is going to come by the crib here in a couple of days. We're going to talk. Don Callis of New Japan Pro Wrestling's coming by. My buddy Paul Laser will be my stunt double from back here in my Vancouver movie days is coming into town. And a couple of other people. So, man, I got some good people coming by and shooting the breeze with me. It's been an absolute mess over here at 316 Gimmick Street and the place next door. The painters over at Gussying that place up, like I said. So it's all kinds of hassle over here, but it's all good. God dang it. I tell you what, just a while ago, I got in the car with my wife, and we were going to go down to this furniture place and look at some couches. That's right. We're still looking for some freaking couches. So anyway, we're going to the couch place, and we sat on a couple she said were comfortable. And she said, I hope you like these couches. I said, I hope I like them too, because I ain't buying them based on anybody's opinion, and I love you and I trust you. But when I'm sitting my ass on a piece of furniture, I want to make sure that it conforms to my standards, and it is indeed as comfortable for me as it was for you. Well, it turns out I go down to this damn place, whether I can't remember the name of the store. I sit down on the couch and I immediately say, this ain't worth a damn. This thing ain't comfortable. So she sits back down on the couch and she goes, yeah, you know what? It doesn't seem as comfortable as I thought it was last time either. So, man, I took off my hat. I'm already sweating bullets. We got the heat wave going through Los Angeles. We drove all this away over here to get on this couch and give it a try, give it a test run. Let me sit my ass on this couch, put my leg up on the damn coffee table, and it wasn't worth a damn. It was like sitting on a cotton ball, a bunch of cotton balls that were wrapped in a burlap sack. And I'm like, man, what kind? I went to get up. And I would have needed a couple of damn crutches to get up, or either that or a couple of damn gymnast rings hanging from the ceilings to pull myself out of the damn couch. It was absolutely ridiculous. And my wife says, well, we could go down to Costa Mesa. There's a bunch of furniture stores over there. And I said, Costa Mesa? I said, how far is that? She says, well, according to my phone, it's 34 miles away. Hell, we'd done driven about 10 or 15 miles down past LAX. I figured I got plenty of food packed up in the car. I can turn in my podcast open later. Give me something to talk about. I said, let me flip this thing around. We'll go to Costa Mesa and try out all the couches they got. I'll be damned if we didn't walk into about 5, 6, 7 damn stores, and it's the same old thing. They got the long-ass deep seats and the short back, which is tilted way back. I guess if you're trying to look cool, if you're trying to pick someone up, or you're at the lounge, or the lobby, or something like that, I guess those things are just fine. But when I'm sitting, my broke down, crippled up ass on a couch, I want to sit up about half-ass vertical. I kind of want that thing to be overstuffed cushions. I want to be able to put my foot on an ottoman or something and just sit there. And for some reason, the way they're making all these couches these days, I don't know who they're making them for. Our couch that we got right now is 11 years old. We went back to the place that made that couch that we originally got. Those things are just wore out. They don't make them no more. I don't know why they stopped, because they couldn't have gone out of style. How can good furniture that's comfortable, that lasted us 11 years with always having 3 dogs in our rotation, jumping up and down off of them, climbing on them, sleeping on them, but we done wore those things slap out. But why would they stop making that couch? This stuff they make these days, I don't know. I don't know where to crap or wind my watch. It's hard to find a damn couch. But anyway, we finally went to this one damn last store. Went over there, started walking around, doing the whole circuit, walking around, walking the floor. And then people are watching you like a hawk, so they can come over there and pester you while you're trying to buy a couch. And you got to do your due diligence, try everything out. And you always got to have that table in front of you so you can kick your legs on top of it. Because we're back to the regular couches. Everybody, y'all all sent me emails to questions@steveaustonshow.com when I was looking for those electric reclining couches, and you said, stay away from them. They all break. So we're back to the regular couches. And finally, I'll be damned if I didn't finally find a couch with a pretty high back, proper armrest. The cushions look pretty damn sturdy. And I sat in that dang thing, and I said, hey, out of all the couches that we done sat in, I said, this is my favorite one. Of course, my wife's nowhere to be seen. She's in a different part of the store. I finally see her. I flag her down, and she comes over there, and she sits in that couch. I said, I'm telling you, this is the most comfortable couch we've found so far. Finally, here comes a dude from the store. He goes, well, if you like this one, you might like this one over here. We go over there to that part of the store. And I'll be damned if that wasn't the most comfortable couch out of all the couches we sat on. We finally found it. And, of course, the other couch was halfway across the store. I kept going back and forth, back and forth. I couldn't just go as a crow flies. Had to walk between all the furniture and zigzag my way around the way they had everything situated in the store. Went back and forth about 8 times from couch to couch to make sure that when we pulled the trigger and decided to purchase this couch, that we're going to get the right one. Because when you kind of get something and you don't give it a proper test drive, whether it's a car, a couch, whatever, and all of a sudden you get that thing in the house and you're like, oh man, this thing ain't that good. Because by the time you order the couch in the color that you want it in and it gets there, all of a sudden if the damn thing ain't what you thought it was, hey, you SOL, out of luck. You done purchased it. It's yours in the story. So I'm going to make sure, if I'm going to put down my hard-earned cash and sit my ass on a couch, I want to make sure I like it. I want to make sure my wife likes it, and I really want to make sure that my 3 dogs are going to like it. But if my ass likes it, they're going to have to take my word that I say it's comfortable, and that's the bottom line. So anyway, long story short, we bought the couch. Well, we're going to turn in our order, and those things should be here in about 2 weeks, and I will be extremely happy that we will have finally solved our couch situation at 316 Gimmick Street. Case closed. Hey, I got an epic podcast with one of my favorite WWE superstars, Bayley. She's coming up next, and she will be on next Tuesday as well, and on part 2 of the podcast. At the very end, we break down and watch and enjoy her illustrious match with Sasha Banks at NXT TakeOver. Before we get to Bayley, I got to smarten you guys up about how to get a clean, close shave at a great price. Y'all know how much I love saving money, and you know one way I save? Dollar Shave Club. Joining dollarshaveclub.com/Steve gives you a chance to enjoy a luxury shave at an economy price. Buying a razor is a lot like buying a new car or a new couch. To get smooth luxury quality, you have to pay a high price. And the reality is that you're really just paying for fancy marketing and features that you don't need. That's why you need to sign up for dollarshaveclub.com/Steve. Dollar Shave Club's razors are great quality. They've got the shave tech you actually need and none of the overpriced gimmicks. Dollar Shave Club is a smarter choice. And if you really want to smarten up, Then get Dollar Shave Club's executive razor and use it with their Dr. Carver shave butter. The blade just glides right over your skin, giving you a close, smooth shave. Dr. Carver shave butter also helps prevent ingrown hairs and razor bumps. So say goodbye to spending your whole paycheck on one razor with 24 blades and swivel pivots. Say goodbye to driving to the store to buy the cheap, one-use disposable razor that tears up your skin, and say hello to dollarshaveclub.com/Steve. Join today and get a smooth shave with a great razor for a fraction of the price. Your skin will thank you for it, and your wallet will too. Smarten up and join dollarshaveclub.com/Steve today, because right now, new members get their first month of the executive razor with a tube of Dr. Carver shave butter for only $5 with free shipping. After that, the razors are just a few bucks a month. There are no long-term commitments, no hidden fees, and you can cancel whenever you want. Sign up now at dollarshaveclub.com/Steve. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Steve, and that's the bottom line.
Hey everybody, this is Spike Ferguson from Spike's Car Radio. We're out here in the porch of at the Malibu Kitchen at the Malibu Country Mart every weekend doing podcasts. My first guest is Jerry Seinfeld. He's right here. We're going to have Jeremy Piven. We're going to have Chris Hardwick. See you soon on Spike's Car Radio.
I think he's over-projecting for a podcast.
And I love to over-project for podcasts. Join me every week at PodcastOne.com and Apple Podcasts.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
Where you want to start? From the beginning?
I guess. I don't know. How do you? It depends on what you want to do.
I'm sitting there talking to one of my favorite WWE superstars, former WWE Raw Women's Champion, Bayley. Well, how are you? Welcome to my crib.
Well, thank you. I'm really good. This was so last minute type thing. So I'm excited to be in Stone Cold Steve Austin's home. Oh my goodness.
Tell him what I'm sitting on.
You're sitting on a clutch chair, the 316 video game chair, just freshly put together, saw with my own eyes. Looks comfortable.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
My wife put this thing together for me.
Yeah.
You were fixing to come over. My wife says, I'm going to put your chair together. I said, you can't put that chair together. Because I thought it was going to. I opened the box and there's a bunch of pieces in there. I said, man, I ain't going to try to put that thing together. I got to do some research on Bayley because short notice. But my wife did an awesome job. Thanks to Clutch Chairs for the Austin 316 chair. Here's a message for you. Clutch, come out with a Bayley chair.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, dude. You guys have the Sasha one, and Macho Man one. Now you guys need a Bayley one.
Okay, you heard it here from Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bayley coming out with the Bayley Clutch Chair. Hey, you out here on the main streets of Los Angeles. You're from California.
Yeah.
What are you doing prowling around my neighborhood?
I was looking for your beer, first of all, so I wanted to buy the Broken Skull IPA. I did find it. I came out here early we have Monday Night Raw on Monday at Staples Center. I came out a little bit early to train with my trainer, Josh, at Paradiso CrossFit. And then my friends came. My sister and my brothers are coming down. We're going to go see my dad. And now I'm here, so I guess it's all worth it. We have the weekend off this weekend because we're going to Japan right after Raw. So we were lucky enough to get some time off right before.
How many dates y'all have in Japan?
We're doing 2 nights in Tokyo, and then we're doing a night in Shanghai.
Okay, now I was reading some interviews about you. I know you wanted to go to Japan. You've probably been there a few times now.
I've never been there.
So it's be your first time?
Yes.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah. It's crazy that my first time going is going to be with WWE. This is not the way I would have ever expected my career to go or anything. I almost had an opportunity to go right at the end of my independent career, but I was already signed, so I couldn't do it. So now I'm really excited, and especially to go like with Sasha, and that it's her first time too. It's a lot of our first time, so it's going to be really fun.
How close are you with Sasha?
We're pretty close. She's definitely my closest friend. Aside from Carmella, I would say she's my closest friend here. We're just the same.
So
I guess,
she's excited about going to Japan too?
Yeah. She if you know her, she loves her Asian culture and she loves her Japanese wrestling and people. She's going to call herself like the Japanese princess or something weird like that. She likes to do that. And she's really jealous I'm here right now, so.
I'm a big fan of the Legit Boss, and you were going to try to bring her over with you.
Yeah. So she's doing BET Awards tomorrow night. So she has a signing tonight, and when I found out that you wanted to do this, I was like, let me see if she can come over here because we listen to your podcast on the road all the time. So it would be such a cool thing for her to be here and do whatever. But she's too busy for me, so I'll just rub this in her face.
Two outstanding young ladies in the business of professional wrestling / sports entertainment, riding down the road, listening to my podcast. Y'all ain't got nothing better to do?
Dude, it's the best.
Come on.
But we don't want to talk to each other. No, no, yours is, that's what made me want to message you in the first place, to how we first started talking, because you just watch it all the time still, which is
I'm still a fan.
Awesome. Yeah.
I still love it. Hey, let's talk about Japan real quick. As far as the work style, sorry, we don't have. I'm not podcasting from my normal situation here, so we're kind of jammed for knee room here. Double knockdown, double down. Here we go. God, they call a high spot. You know, when you go to Japan, the crowd's going to be a little different.
Yeah.
Because you watch any Japan wrestling?
Yeah.
Do you watch New Japan on Access, or do you follow the product at all?
A little bit, yeah. I'll watch it when they have like their bigger shows, but I used to get the channel, and now I don't get the channel anymore, so. Sometimes I'll watch it, but I know how the crowds are.
It's a little bit different when you're kind of making your decisions in the ring and try to get a flow going, because the American crowd and the Japanese crowd, I mean, they respond differently.
Yeah, that's why I guess I'm kind of nervous about. I know Asuka's going to be on our team, so maybe she can kind of help us with that.
She's awesome. How do you get along with her?
She's great. She's awesome. Yeah, I always mess around with her because she speaks little English to us. So I kind of just, when she won the title, every day I would just go up to her and kind of like take the title from her, and she's like, ah, and she'd just start hitting me. She's so funny. And she's I miss being in the ring with her, because she always made me up my game, because her style is so different, and you have to really be like quick-minded and quick on your feet and everything. I miss wrestling her, but it'll be fun.
She has a very physical style. How is she to work with? Is she snug?
She can be. Her kicks can be, but she's very, it was actually easier than I thought. Like, I've only worked with a couple Japanese women before I got to WWE, and that was with Shimmer, and I was, I didn't really know how to approach them either. I was like, well, I know some type of lucha style wrestling that I guess I could incorporate with them, but I didn't know what to expect from Asuka, because she's been wrestling for a long time. But I would say, I think we meshed pretty well right away. We only had a few matches before we had a takeover match, and her kicks were a little stiff, but it was okay. With adrenaline, something you don't feel it until afterwards.
What, do you send something back?
To her, no, because I get scared. Certain people you have to, because you have to put them in their place. If they're gonna get you, you gotta get them back and give them a receipt. But her, I was like, okay, I know that's your style. It's all right.
So how do you go about when, hey, all right, this is a little much, here's one back? What's your barometer as far as, hey, it's a receipt time? If
it's dangerous, like there's times that people are snug, but it's in safe spots, or it's just with. Everybody gets like the adrenaline and gets, into the moment and everything, so you can't really blame them. But if it's like dangerous and it's rushed and it's because they're nervous or whatever, and they're not calming down no matter how many times you tell them, then you kind of have to give them one.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I was just worried, without head-to-head competition, without anything really other being out there than WWE, being the big dog.
Yeah.
When you had WCW and WWE, I mean, you had somewhere else to go, and sending receipts is just a part of the history of the business.
Yeah.
So, I just thought in today's system, it's a pretty tough system. You guys have it's very tough, I think, for the position you guys are in now. But to hear that receipts still exist brings a smile on my face. Because I think I'm stuck in the old school.
Yeah.
And I was listening to an interview that Triple H did with Dave Palumbo, and he goes, listen, everybody that worked thinks that the generation they were in is better than the next generation.
Yeah.
So I kind of cackled about that, because he was kind of right.
Yeah.
But it's a tougher system now, I think, than it was when I came up, because we could try almost anything, because it's almost like the Wild Wild West, especially with the competition of Monday Nitro. I mean, it was like you could literally do no wrong.
Yeah. I think it depends on the person also. I don't know if anybody else, I'm sure maybe some of the guys send receipts quicker than I would or whatever. I guess it depends on the person. But coming up now, I go back and forth about that with me and Sasha talk about that all the time too. Just being backstage, or the politics and all that stuff behind it, and getting into storylines or what they're doing, and coming up from NXT. it could either be a smooth ride and real easy depending on what the company's looking for or who you are or whatever, or it can be, you can be in NXT for a long time and then finally get there and have a big debut and then kind of have a rough start too. And it's so different, but I guess it has its pros and cons from like back then and now.
How did you end up in NXT after being on the indie scene for as long as you were? Not that you spent a long time on the indie scene, I'm just saying.
Years. Yeah. I got noticed out in, I did a show for this company called EWF, which is somewhere in Southern California. I forgot exactly where. And I wanted to, what was her name? Her name was Mischief. I remember I just wanted to wrestle her. It was a match with her. And I had hyperextended my knee and I almost didn't do that show. But I was like, I really want to work with Mischief. So I went and did this show and somebody, Marty Elias, he was at the show and he just pulled me aside and was like, hey, have you ever thought about, sending stuff in, blah, blah, blah. And I thought he meant to he said to Funaki. And I thought he meant to go to Japan or go to Mexico or something. So I sent him my stuff. Funaki sends my stuff to wherever, not knowing that he works with WWE. And then a week later, I get called. And I'm like, what the? I didn't know what I was doing. And then I got invited to a tryout here in LA. And it was a 3-day tryout and a very long wait for a call back. And I got hired.
Tell me about the tryout. What did it consist of?
It was crazy. It was a lot of, I was the only female wrestler there. And there was 6 other girls there that were track stars. And there was a stunt woman and all kinds of different stuff. And it was just in a big warehouse in LA with a ring. And it was Bill DeMott and William Regal and Jim Ross. Everybody was there. And it was just a lot of drills. They just killed us and ran the ropes for 3 minutes at a time and all kinds of grape squishers, which was the worst. And then the last day,
explain that to the people.
Grape squishers is when you're just standing into the
hold on the turnbuckle.
Yeah, hold on the turnbuckle and get high knees for 3 minutes, and then they made you run the ropes for 3 minutes, and your legs are jello, and you're crisscrossing with the other person. So if they're tired or they're going too fast, you kind of have to time yourself with them. And it was a bigger ring, which I trained in. I think mine was 16 by 16, and then this ring's 20 by 20. So that was a little hard to adjust to right away. But then we had the matches on the last day, and everybody was having matches except the girls because they weren't trained. And they were I think it was Bill DeMott told me, can you just put this girl through what we learned this week? And they just learned lockups and roll-offs and forward rolls, a schoolboy. So I kind of put this little drill together, ran it with one of the girls, and then he said, so-and-so, get in. And he said, do it again with her. So I had to call it to her. Then he sent every single girl in, and I just called it to her, this little a minute and a half drill. And I think that's really what kind of got me my job, because I was able to lead these girls who did it for 2 days in these little drills and kind of make it look like a match,
right? And
help them out through it and everything. I wanted them to look good as well because I knew it would make me look good. And then I cried during my promo, which was really bad, and that was it.
What do you mean you cried during your promo? Why'd you cry?
Because first of all, I suck at promos. Well, I was even worse back then. I was just
first
terrible.
of all, you don't suck at promos.
Okay, well, thank you.
Let's talk about back then.
Okay, back then I was really bad at promos.
No confidence.
No confidence. I didn't even know what to talk about, and I was so nervous. No.
Okay.
I was just this chick wrestling. I had no character or gimmick or anything.
Is this pre-Davina Rose?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this is, who I was. Davina Rose was just a wrestler.
Oh, just a name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't really do anything special or anything that stood out or anything. But I cried, and then they put me in this other one that was with some guy, and I forgot what we had to act like. He was my boyfriend, but I was had a crush on John Cena. So it was improv stuff, which that stuff was fun. So maybe they saw a little bit of personality there. But I was so nervous.
Was it crying out of anguish, or did you incorporate that into the promo?
No, it was just, if I remember it correctly, I think I was kind of just explaining who I was. Not really like a wrestling promo, but just, I started this and this, I love wrestling and blah, blah, blah. So kind of just telling my story. But usually when I talk about wrestling, I get really emotional. So mixed with nerves and cameras and people staring at me, I just broke down. And yeah, it was terrible.
So you were able to lead those women through some drills, kind of a little bit like a match.
Yeah.
So how are you in the ring? Would you consider yourself a ring general?
I like to think so. A lot of, it depends who you're in there with too. At this point, for sure, with a lot of the girls who started after me, and a lot of the girls don't come from the independents nowadays, so you kind of have to, I learned that in NXT, you kind of have to lead most of the girls through, except obviously Sasha and I can talk in there forever, and like sometimes a lot of the times I have to just follow her lead because she thinks really fast, and like most of the time we work together, she was the heel, which was kind of like she's more in control for all that. But I like leading. It's fun. That's something that I actually miss being in NXT, is helping people and having them rely on me and having good matches and like being able to learn from me and stuff. Or being able to teach. I kind of miss those little matches.
Where are you more comfortable, or where are you the most comfortable in the ring, leading or following? And if you're following, you have someone really, really good like Sasha leading.
Yeah, I prefer leading because I don't know.
But with Sasha, it almost seems like you guys can read each other's minds. Because there's the chemistry that y'all have is so unbelievable. It's like you're always on the same page, thinking the same thing that the other one's thinking. And obviously a call here or there, but done extremely well.
Yeah, she's probably like the only person I can do that with. And even if I'm not, say I'm in the ring with Becky or Charlotte or whatever, even if I'm not calling things, I'm usually just talking. Even I'm not saying, go here or do this, let's do this. I'm just speaking what I'm thinking so that we know we're both on the same page. Even if they don't say anything back, I just talk the whole time because it's easier for me, I guess. I'm just used to it now.
You've been working since 2008?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to pick up the mechanics of the business? I mean, because you said you came here to LA to train with your CrossFit coach.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you did CrossFit training.
Yeah.
You played sports as a kid. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your athletic background a little bit.
Let's see. Well, I played high school basketball, cross country.
You're a cross country
track.
runner?
Yeah.
And you're kind of a tomboy, as you would say.
I'm totally a tomboy.
What kind of cross country?
Whatever, like the ones that I had to do in high school.
Long-ass stuff?
Yeah, they like trails and hills and all this stuff. My basketball coach in high school made me do it to keep me in shape through the off season. And I was so mad at her. But afterwards I really started to like it, and because I love competition and I want to like win stuff. So when I'm really bad at something, I'm like, dang it, dude, I got to get better. So in the races and everything, I started getting pretty good at them.
Tell me about your CrossFit training and how it affects your wind or your performance in the ring.
Well, I just started training with my trainer maybe a month before WrestleMania. He's also Seth's trainer. He's Becky's trainer. He does stuff with Cesaro. So look, they're all in incredible shape and they can do amazing things. So I'm like, okay, let me try this out. I just like structure and someone tell me what to do in the gym, and I wasn't in the PC anymore. So I just needed some type of structure. But it's so crazy because everything's a new movement, and it kind of changed my body right away. You know, when you start doing something different with your body and it just drastically changes. So for Mania, that was great. But then to keep it consistent and try to get better and better after that, like after Mania, I like dropped off because, well, let me just take a week off. And then next thing you know, I'm like, oh no, I'm getting lazy and fat and I can't stop eating. But now I learned like 4 new movements from him this week, and it's been cool. It's kind of, I've definitely gotten stronger. And I just like learning. So anything that's different that I can learn that's physical is cool.
Did you train yesterday?
Yeah.
Then what was your WOD, your workout of the day?
My workout of the day, it was actually pretty easy yesterday. Well, I learned how to clean and jerk, and I learned how to clean and split jerk, I guess.
That's a tough one.
Dude, yeah, so hard, but I really like it. And then my workout was just, I had to find like a heavy deadlift, and then the workout was 21, 15, 9 of deadlifts at 155, and then box jumps. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Do you clean and jerk?
No, you know, the explosive stuff like that, you know, the Broken Skull Challenge, we're going to start filming that show in about 4 weeks. So, man, I deal with a lot of CrossFitters out there.
Oh,
and some of the guys that are, you know, on the production team are big CrossFit guys. And they're like, oh, Steve, man, you can do this. You know, I had my shoulder repaired and all this other stuff. I'm like, Dude, I don't care what you had done. My body feels a little bit different than yours does, and you ain't been hitting the head with a bunch of steel chairs and taking bumps all over the world. I enjoy a lot of the movements. I enjoy the training principles, or just just take 21-15-9 on thrusters.
Yeah.
If you're starting with X amount of weight, whatever it is for guys, and just trying to go for time, just the way that you're always trying to improve yourself. Just with a certain amount of weight against the time. Yeah. I think it's awesome because, it's rather than putting more, you can put more weight on the bar, but I just think there's a lot of great things about it. And there's just explosiveness out of it. A lot of those guys that would come out there to the challenge, and they would just swear up and down by burpees. And I'm like, dude, I said, you guys always keep telling me about the burpees. I said, why do you love them so much? And they said, Steve, we don't love them. We hate them. They're just very effective at getting you wind. Mm-hmm. So do you do any burpees and stuff like that? Tell me about them. Because there's one girl out there. She was from Palmdale, right down the road. And she was doing 100 burpees a day. And I said, hell, I'll do that. And she gave me some reason for doing it. I can't remember what it was. Hell, man, I went out in my garage. First day, I did 10 of them, and I was like, all right, I'm not in as good a shape as I thought I was.
Yeah.
Tell me about your relationship with these burpees.
I hate them because they never get easier. No. That's the thing. You can get better at squatting or benching or mobility or whatever it is, but you can never get better at burpees. Like, it's just always going to be the worst. I was doing them I had this workout where you had to row, and then do the burpees over the rower. And I was actually doing a full-on push-up. So going down and then push-up and then burpee. My trainer was like, don't do the full-on push-up. Just kind of go down and cobra your way up and then do it. So it's a little bit easier and faster. And it made a world of difference, but it's the worst. But it's the best. Do
you have your trainer send you a workout every single day, or how are you able to incorporate that with the travel lifestyle that you're on right now as a WWE Superstar, making the loop?
Yeah, it's hard, but he sends me week by week. So then I kind of just pick. I could do a couple at home and then get a couple on the road. Luckily, he gets us gyms most of the time on the weekend, so he knows a lot of people in the CrossFit world. So wherever we are, he finds a gym for us. And Sasha, myself, Seth, and Claudio, or Cesaro, normally go in there.
So how competitive is that, hanging out with those guys? Because I know Seth is a hell of an athlete. He's been in CrossFit for a long time. I know Cesaro's amazingly strong. He's been doing whatever he's been doing for a long time. Yeah. And those guys, I've seen Cesaro lift on YouTube. Very technical and very strong. Yeah,
so it's just kind of motivational. We don't do the same workout, so luckily it's just something, I don't know, sometimes if you know how it is, you just feel like a run down, or you don't really feel like working out. You could take all the pre-workout in the world and you don't want to lift a weight. But then when you see guys like them, doing that kind of stuff, and you kind of feel motivated to do it. And
when you're on the road, who are you traveling with? Because I saw y'all were doing what's it called? Periscope. I got my arm up there like a periscope, like I'm a submarine. You were traveling, I guess it was, with Carmella.
Oh, yeah.
And so who do you normally travel with?
Well, in NXT, it was always Carmella. She's one of my best friends. Yeah. And it was so much fun. But now she's on SmackDown, which is fine. And I travel with Sasha, which is just
Is she doing CrossFit too? Or is she just
She has her own trainer too. She does half and half, I guess, bodybuilding and CrossFit-ish. She also does burpees. So, she also hates them.
Tell me about living on the road. Back in my days, man, it was a wild, wild west. Man, we were riding down the road. This is way back in the day. This is in the 90s.
Before GPS?
Do what?
Was that before GPS?
Way before GPS.
Dude, that seems like the hardest thing in the world. I don't know how you guys did it.
We had actual atlases. Well, the true veterans had an atlas that you'd bust out, or you'd have your regular map that you'd unfold. It starts off being a rectangle, then you unfold it so it's as big as the front seat.
all the way across.
You're trying to read the thing. But back in the day, we were riding down the road, and this is in the USWA territory, and we was running the same towns every single week, which was cool because you had to change stuff up every single night because the same people. Yeah. A lot of the same people would follow the damn show. It was crazy. And we were all, I was starving. If you was green, you was starving. Yep. So I was starving and riding with a bunch of veterans, picking their brains and stuff like that. So going up and down the road these days with you guys, what's the protocol? Y'all talking matches? You booking the territory? Trying to come up with a new gimmick or an angle? What is it?
I think the main difference, like you're saying, you used to travel with the veterans and stuff, and we've kind of, I guess it depends who you are, but everyone just travels with their friends because it's easier, and you're going to be on the same schedule with your friend. But I don't know how other cars are. I know the guys I've traveled with guys in NXT, and they're always trying to book stuff and always talking. It's always wrestling, always. With Sasha and I, we kind of, it's kind of still new to us being together all the time. So we it's either like, we talk about friends or family or whatever, but we like to complain to each other and kind of vent to each other about everything. Yeah. So, there's only certain people that you could do that with. And she's one of those people that I can just let it all out, and same with her. And then we can just be like huge freaking marks together and just be like, oh, I can't believe we get to do this every day. Like, this is the coolest thing.
It is the coolest thing, but it is a business. But there is those times where it's like, Jesus, I got to get this off my back or off my chest, or at least say it. But the other person's got to be cool enough, like your relationship with Sasha, to kayfabe that and not spread it elsewhere.
Totally.
It's that vent session.
Yeah.
Friends like that are few and far between in this business.
Right.
Okay, I'm sitting here with Bayley, and I know you've been a pro wrestling fan since way back in the day. Let's talk about how you got into pro wrestling after I take a minute to show a little appreciation to one of the sponsors who let me do this podcast twice a week for free. And that's TrueCar.com and the TrueCar app. TrueCar gives you the pricing information you need to feel confident about your purchase. When you register with TrueCar, you'll see what other people in your local area paid for the car you want. And from there, you can connect with a local TrueCar certified dealer and enjoy a more confident car buying experience. TrueCar shows you real pricing on actual inventory, so you see competitive pricing offered to you by TrueCar certified dealers for vehicles that are actually on their lots. And you'll also see all the dealer incentives before you get to the lot, so you can feel confident about the price when you show up. TrueCar makes car buying easy, no matter if you're looking for a brand new or used vehicle, and the stats don't lie. Over 3 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by the TrueCar Certified Dealer Network. There are over 13,000 dealers in that network, with some 700,000 pre-owned vehicles available. So do yourself a favor and go to TrueCar for your next car buying experience. TrueCar doesn't just make the process easier, it'll also save you some money. TrueCar users save an average of over $3,000 off MSRP. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a better car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. Talk about coming up. I know you've told your story a million times, seen some of your interviews, stuff like that. So I guess as you were a kid, you started watching the business way back in the day. Mm-hmm. Your dad was a fan? Your family was a fan?
Yeah,
your brothers?
My grandma, my dad, and then my brother and my dad would watch it until I finally caught on. But
you just crossed in front of the TV, and Macho Man kind of caught your eye.
Yeah, and it was like WCW, and I never watched WCW even after that. But he was just the first person I saw that I was like, oh, because they would watch it all the time, and I literally was just crossing the living room and saw him, and I just sat down and watched it, and then I became obsessed. My dad was probably mad because then he spent so much money on me.
But you go to a lot of the shows.
Yeah, I went to a bunch of them after that. We went to the San Jose, I don't know what it's called now, the HP Pavilion or SAP Center or whatever. He would take me there all the time. We went to the Cow Palace for No Way Out when Eddie won the title. So we've been there a couple times, and we'd go to the Oakland Arena also for some of the pay-per-views.
Cow Palace, I don't want to say this because this is my family-friendly show, but I got to explain the Cow Palace like I always do. It's a show.
Yeah.
But it had atmosphere. When I say that, I mean it with as a compliment. Someone was talking about the old Nashville Fairgrounds a while back, and they said that the building was the same as what I just said about the Cow Palace. But that was with respect. Those are the kind of buildings that, man, they got that crazy atmosphere, and you pack in a bunch of crazy-ass wrestling fans, it just makes it that much better.
Yeah, that was like, I was all the way at the top for No Way Out, but I felt like I was right there because it's so small, and everyone's, it's just jam-packed. It was freaking great.
So you mentioned Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
What was it about Eddie? He's one of my favorites of all time. The guy was absolute magic in the ring, just the little things he did. And if anybody could like him and appreciate what he did, but if you knew what was going on and you watched him and you saw the level that he could take it to, just the little things he did meant so much. I just like something just as simple as if the the guy he was working with was laying down right here by my recorder, and this is his face. He's laying face up. That thing, he would just put his foot there and just do that little spin around.
Yep.
Just like rubbing his foot right on the guy's forehead or his nose, just mashing it. Just the way he did that was just magic. What did you see in the guy?
The night at No Way Out, this is, he just had something about him that obviously he was a fan favorite. Everybody loved him for years. Like, he had a perfect storyline building up to that match. But when he won, you just felt like everybody won. Like, you were a part of him, and he made you feel like we all did this together. And that's the first time that I've ever really felt that as a fan, or even still to this day. Like, that's something I'll always remember, like, the reaction when the bell rang and he was announced as a new champion. So it's just something so genuine about him that you could feel without even knowing him. But as far as wrestling and stuff, and him being amazing and being able to do it all, literally one of the guys that can do it all. I remember watching him, maybe this was like a couple years ago, so I was already here, and I was watching his old matches, like in WCW, when he was just a heel coming out with like his hair soaking wet. He looked miserable, and you don't get that anymore out of heels being like coming out like they're completely miserable, and that makes you like, dude, if you don't want to be here, just don't come then. That's how I felt watching him. Is like, why are you even doing this if you don't even want to do it? And then he'd get into the ring, be so nasty, and just have that look of like disgust, and he was too good for it all. Like, I don't know, it was something about that. Like, I always told myself too, if I were to ever be heel, I want to make myself so miserable, because that's one of the most hateable things, I think. I don't know how to explain it, but I remember that.
I know what you're trying to say, though, and it was easier done than we can say it as far as Eddie goes. Yeah. But I also think that just kind of knowing Eddie the way I did, and most everybody on the crew probably knew Eddie better than I did. I requested to work with him because I respected him so much and liked his work so much. So there's people that know Eddie better than I did. But I think, after it was all said and done, I remember going to his funeral many years ago. But Eddie was happy when he got to go to the ring, whether he had that misery stain on or whatever. Yeah. He was happy that he was fixing to get in the ring and light it up. I think that was the happy time in his life. And then when he got out of the ring, I think that's when life's problems or the heaviness got on his shoulders. Yeah. But he was actually taking you on the ride, and that misery was just his heel state. But you bought into it because the guy was 120% in from the get-go. And I thought the guy was phenomenal. Yeah,
in being around Jericho now a little bit, with him on the road with us, hearing his stories about Eddie, and like how exactly what you're saying, like how he was backstage, but then when he came out, he's just, you wouldn't even know if anything was going on, or if he was, actually feeling that miserable state at that time or anything like that. He's just, it's amazing for somebody to be able to turn it on and off like that.
And he could. As far as turning it on and off, let's talk about for a second you with respect to who and what you are within the structure of WWE, or as a wrestler, sports entertainer, personality. From when you came up as Davina Rose, and then you cut that promo there at WWE, you started crying, whatever. And then you go to NXT. Yeah. How did you decide to start honing this personality? On Wikipedia, they says this doe-eyed fangirl. I don't see you as that. I see you as someone who is a young lady who loves the business of pro wrestling and got into it because she's a fan, and now you're doing it and you kick ass. So how did you decide, or did WWE say, or did NXT say, here's what we think you should be based on what you're showing us? Or did you say, hey, this is kind of who I am? How did that come to be?
Well, at my tryout, William Regal actually pulled me aside and said, basically, he said, we're missing a demographic for little girls. And he said, you have that about you, and I could see something in you that could, get their attention and just bring in that demographic that we need, that we're missing. And I was like, that's exactly what I want, because from day one, I've always wanted to make kids feel the way I felt when I watched wrestling. And so that was always something that I wanted, no matter what. And I said, I would, whatever you get, like, that's what I want. Tell them that's what I want to do. Like, that's my goal, to get, be a kid friendly. And so he said, okay, well, if you make it there, then we're going to work on that. I was like, all right. So I get to NXT or in Tampa, but William Regal is like never around. So I'm like, did he tell anybody? And I'm like, do they know who I am? I'm going to be the kid girl. Like I'm the girl that's going to be, I'm going to have the little girl army. But like he was never around. So then I went back to cutting promos with Dusty and crying and being terrible. And Dusty was the one that really made me like, he's like, just be who you are. Just talk about what you want to talk about. Just talk about being a fan. And then it just kind of just went off like that. And I think once I accepted that it was okay to be myself and just kind of let myself go and not try to be a wrestler. You don't have to don't be a wrestler, just be you and enjoy it. And they'll be able to see right through it. I mean, they tell you that all the time. And then it just got really fun. And I love doing promos after.
When the light goes on and you finally realize you can be what you are.
Yeah.
And that's real. So when I see you, I know that it's not a gimmick.
Yeah.
Because we've had just a few times to meet in person and talk a little bit. I'm like, that's who this chick is. Just turned up a little bit because she's on television, but that's who you are.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Stone Cold. Now, we're just sitting here talking, but that's who I am, turned up to a 10 or 11.
Right.
And when you can be you, and everybody should be them, whatever it is, just it can work. But sometimes you try so hard, and I still see people, and this is, I always like to say things, I'll talk about mean streaks and fire all the time because why do I keep doing it? Because I know people that, like you, ride down the road, some people still don't get it, so I still talk about these things. But you realize when you get into the business, and when I first got in and I started training in 89 and I broke in 90, I was able to win Rookie of the Year. But in my mind, I was such a Flair guy. I was trying to, emulate my style of what Ric Flair was.
Yeah.
And so I still did that even coming up through USWA for a year and a half, then through WCW. Now, I was never, ever as good as Ric Flair, nor could I be close to him before I got dumped on my head. But that's who I was trying to be. When I finally got dropped on my head, or when I went through ECW and worked with Paul Lee, I was able to hey, man, here's who and what I am really in a competitive environment. And then came up with the Stone Cold thing. All the stars lined up. And then I found success. But it was after 7.5 years of beating my head against, the business and, trying to work and figure it all out, finally I figured it out. About 5 years in WCW, hey, you can actually smile in this ring and have fun.
Yeah.
And when you're having fun, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
But at first, you're going through those paces of learning, okay, basic mechanics, stringing together some 101 psychology, much less 201, and getting into the different layers and telling a hell of a match with different levels.
Yeah.
So, but go back to you. Just being who you are is very important.
It's so important. It just makes it all easier, makes it make so much more sense. And you could just have fun and you don't have to think as hard. All you have to do is just go out there and be you. It's backstage I'm more, laid back and just, I'm even shy around people, or I'm not in the groups being all loud with people or anything. I'm kind of more to myself, and with my friends and all that I'm talkative, but once I go out there I'm able to express myself in the way that you can't anywhere else, and it's so fun. So that's, I don't know, it is, I guess, me turned up to 100 or whatever. But I think after I found myself, it made the wrestling psychology easier, because you think what would make sense to me doing this, or you could put your little character things here, and it made everything better. So
how many years were you in the business before everything really clicked?
I don't think it was till I got to NXT, because I love where I trained. I trained by this guy named Jason Styles in Newark, and he taught me the basic fundamentals perfectly. I couldn't thank him enough. And I kind of just knew how to tell a simple story in a match, and I could put on a simple basic match. But once I got to NXT, that's when I really started figuring everything out. And that's just from training every single day and having these matches on the fly with whoever, and rewatching my stuff. I watch my matches. I know a lot of people don't like to watch their matches because they get embarrassed, or they're like, oh, it pisses me off seeing them. Seeing yourself make mistakes is annoying, but you have to do it. And I always tell people, girls who are coming up or whatever, they'll ask me to watch their matches with them or for them on NXT. And I always tell them to watch it like 3 or 4 times because I always watch different things. So I'll watch one to watch just myself, then I'll watch it again and I watch my opponent, and then I watch it again without sound, and then I watch it again just listening to the commentators so that like I could hear what they're saying and what I'm doing at that time to see why they made a big deal about whatever it was I was doing at that time, or like to watch my body language or if I sold wrong or whatever. So I watch it a million times. And I love
But will
it.
you ever go back if you watched a match and maybe the announcers missed something and you go, hey man, next time here's the point I'm trying to get across here, or this is what I'm actually trying to do.
Yeah.
What is the relationship between the announce team and the guys and girls?
For when I was in NXT, I learned that pretty quick. I forgot who it was that told me that it may have been even our coaches, may have been Sarah Amato saying like, make sure you tell the commentators, point that out. So that I was pretty good at, especially at the takeover matches, I would write everything down. Like, this is what I need you to say. This is what we're trying to get to. Make it a point here, whatever. And then even for the pay-per-view matches at WWE, I haven't been as good about it for TVs or anything. But I hope everybody does that. I know sometimes they're already told kind of what things to say or when. But it just makes it so much easier when you're able to like text Corey or text Byron or something and say, hey, I'm going to do this. Can you please talk about it? Or I'm wearing this gear and this is why it's significant. So I just kind of want to get it out there, which I think is
So you don't have to
very
plant the
important.
seed so they can organically.
Yeah, right.
What is the difference between being on the NXT roster versus the main roster for Raw or SmackDown, the WWE brand, NXT brand?
I think it's really just the crowd, the size of the crowd, because it's not a big difference from TV, or that's where I learned how to work a camera or camera angles or how to take my time and pace myself so that the cameras can catch you and stuff. But I don't know, besides the people, I think it's just the size of the crowd. Of course, there's the obvious things with like either not getting a match time that you want, or the NXT crowd's very passionate, and so they're into everything and everyone. Whereas WWE, it kind of takes years to get that, because you can watch the main events with Seth and Dean and even Samoa Joe. Like the time that you get on TV just helps your live event matches because the people are so into it. But for
is that
some
because
people,
NXT is always filmed in Orlando?
yeah, it definitely helps that they're always there, so they see them like once a month.
Right.
And they're doing the local shows like every week, so those people go and watch those shows on the weekends, and they get to know everybody. So then when they finally see them on TV, it really is like a family atmosphere in NXT with the fans in the locker room.
Have you noticed, which I did, like Chicago, I had a couple of towns that were good towns.
Yeah.
But Chicago, for some reason, was a stronghold for me. And one time I remember we were there, I think it was a 6-man tag match, and the crowd was kind of hard for some reason. And then I tagged in, we kind of lit it up and changed gears a little bit, and all of a sudden they started coming. And I was like, hey, man, I think we're on to something here. And then that's when I'd really kind of go on to start getting hot. But sometimes, you got to get around the horn, and sometimes you go places, like if you were ever a babyface and you got knocked out of the business because you're come back from an injury, this, that, or whatever, and all of a sudden you had to come back, and you were coming back at Nassau Coliseum. Mm-hmm. That's not a place as a babyface. A great crowd, great building, all that. But as a babyface, that's the last place you want to go to come back.
Yeah.
You want to come back to Chicago or just one of the places to blow the roof off of the building, because, man, in Nassau, sometimes that's a hill-based crowd. Where do you figure your strongholds are? You're over, and everybody loves you. But what are your strongholds as far as cities?
It's hard to tell right now with WWE. I still kind of get the same reaction everywhere I go, which is not like amazing, like a Sasha reaction or a Seth Rollins or Dean Ambrose reaction, but it's kind of just like, oh yeah, they're happy I'm here. But when I was in NXT, it was I think, does Europe count? When we were in like England and everything, and I guess WWE too. When I'm in Europe or England or anywhere over there overseas, I guess they kind of like me more there, just because they're such a fun crowd and they want to be interacted with, and they love to sing for some reason. A lot of fans over there like to chant. Do they have those football chants or these songs that they sing for me with my name in it? You just got to insert my name. And I guess that's right now it's overseas. But when I was in NXT, it was like Chicago, Columbus, Albany. We had a huge venue in Albany that we went to. That was amazing. One time we went to Detroit and they sang a cool song for me, which was really cool. And I was wrestling Nia Jax, and I tried to be serious and more like, all right, let me get this chick down first and then we could have fun. But I couldn't help it. I just kind of sat back and let them sing for like 5 minutes.
When you make your entrance, now when you're on the road, I'm imagining you don't have the inflatable.
I do.
You do?
Yeah. They
Awesome.
rent them in every city. Isn't that crazy?
That's great.
Yeah. I'm so lucky. And if they don't, then they'll do the cryo.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, sometimes you go out. What are you thinking when you go out?
I get really nervous, even if it's a easy match. And I say a little prayer to myself. I don't know. It depends, I guess. I'm usually just really excited and nervous. Does that make sense? I can be excited and nervous, right?
Yes, you can. You can. But here's the thing I was trying to get at, or I'll get to.
Okay.
Sometimes you go out there and you're like, God dang, I'm going to blow the roof off this one.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll go out there and be, oh, man.
Yeah.
And that glass just broke and I'm BMF walking out there. I'm like, that just was about 20 decibels lower than I had expected it to be. You know, it was almost like anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just boom, the roof go off the place.
Yeah.
So when you get one of those, how you feel?
Yeah, it sucks. That's happened recently.
You live and die by that, right?
Yeah, that's happened recently where I come out and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like afterwards. I'm like, oh, that was a pretty good reaction. All right, this is going to be fun, easy. And then I was working just singles with Alexa. And then Alexa would come out and she'd get a huge, like, bigger reaction. And I was like, oh, no. What am I going to do now? Like, then you feel like a loser and I should just go home. Like, damn, I was not expecting that. So it's really bad. It's makes you work harder, but it's you
either know, hey man, we would put some work in here to get these people where we want them.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's just going to be a tough day at the office.
Yeah. Sometimes a little bit of both.
And sometimes, you know, like I used to, like John Cena's not around as much as he used to be, but I used to got so much respect for that guy for being around as long as he has at such a high level. But also the way, you know, what does it say? Let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Let's go Cena. I mean, they all respect him. Mm-hmm. And so some people love him. Some people act like they hate him. Everybody loves Cena.
Yeah.
It's a game. But just when you get that amount of, sometimes you get the amount of booze that he does get, it can really mess with a guy's head. He's mature enough and smart enough that he never lets that faze him. But a lot of times you start going out there and you just get, you know, okay reactions, it'll start messing with your mindset.
Yeah.
And you can lose confidence.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah, I'm scared of that. No, I'm just kidding. I'll just run to you and
so
ask
does
what
that
do I
make
do.
you? Does that make you? I was reading some stuff about you, and I think you were working with Awesome Kong, and she said, "Hey, man, you might want to slow down a little bit."
Yeah.
So if sometimes you don't get the reaction that you need, do you go out there and try to rush things to try too hard to get the crowd? Or are you beyond that now?
No, I've probably done that before where I get, and it may have been the first couple times where I just get nervous, like, oh, okay, let's just end this so I can get out of here. It's awkward. But I actually learned from Cena because if you know, Cena, every time he does a promo and they start chanting at him, he always turns it back around and he just accepts it. Like I had this, I don't know if this is the way to handle these fans. But the other weekend, I went up to the turnbuckle and I like raised my hand in my entrance, and then this guy looked me dead in the eye and he goes, "You suck, Bayley." Like he seemed so mad, like he really hated me. And I just smiled. I said, "Thank you, sir." And I turned around, and then the girls around him, you could tell he's like, "Oh no." And the girls around him were cracking up. So I guess you kind of just have to accept it in the matches, because this even happened when I was working with Sasha. Like I guess I just hold the girl there and just kind of let the fans react, and you have to just let them do what they want and just go on with it. I think, I don't know, because I don't know if would you try to just like turn it around and make them how you want to? I know that's the goal, but I kind of like them
on something like
half
that.
and half.
When someone looks you dead in the eye and says you suck, you're not going to change that person.
No.
Stone Cold ain't going to change that person, and neither are you. And
Yeah.
now's not the time or place, because I have however many else are out there for me.
Yeah.
That's just the guy that he paid his ticket. It's cool.
Yeah. That was
But
just
it can mess with
hilarious.
your head.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing. I always tell people, going back to what we were saying earlier about leading or following. I like to lead a match because I don't hear very good. And so I'll miss a call.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a lot of times out there, a lot of fun times with Triple H because Triple H likes to lead as well. Well, so we're kind of going back and forth, and he's such a ring general. He wants to lead. But anyway, I like to call my matches because I don't hear the stuff very well. But when I'm out there, as deaf as I am, I'm ultra sensitive. When I'm in that ring on a 20 by 20, I can feel every single person that's in that damn building. All of a sudden, man, if you got 20,000 seat arena, 19,999 are cheering me, and there's one dude up there in the corner is booing the hell out of me, I can hear him loud and clear.
Yeah.
I'm like, that son of a gun. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I'm very perceptive to what that crowd is doing.
Yeah.
How in tune with the crowd are you? As you go to work, you're trying to tell that story as far as listening.
Man, and I hate to just keep comparing it with NXT. I felt I can do anything. Like I knew exactly what they wanted and how they were going to react to me and my opponent, no matter who it was. I knew what they can do to get a reaction and what I can do to get sympathy or anything. But with this crowd, I'm still kind of figuring them out with WWE. And I think it has a lot to do with, I don't know, this day and age, the crowds it's so different than back then. And they all want to cheer for the wrong person or they're on their Twitter. Like, and that can mess with your head too. It's just reading tweets and people telling you this and you start to believe it. And you're like, wait, I've had to like stay off Twitter before for a while because that can definitely mess with your head. I've seen it happen to people. I hear people talk about it and it shouldn't matter because we're doing our job and what we're told to do and what we love. But I'm still kind of figuring them out. I feel right now I'm kind of in a weird spot with my career. So when I first came, I felt like, all right, I'm still from NXT. I felt like I knew exactly what I was doing. But I'm just, you know how we were talking like a couple months ago, or like you were helping me out with matches and stuff and how I need to go about certain things. I'm still figuring it out. I'm at a weird spot right now.
Let's talk about that weird spot next Tuesday because of Gimme to Go Home queue right now. So Bayley is coming back to 316 Gimmick Street for next Tuesday's family-friendly show. We'll talk about where she's at in her career right now, a little about her Extreme Rules match with Alexa Bliss, relationship and dealing with the boss, Vince McMahon, and the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn match she had with legit boss, Sasha Banks. And now it's time for my video of the week, and because Eddie Guerrero was influential in Bayley's wrestling life, my match for you to watch is Eddie Guerrero No Way Out match versus Brock Lesnar from 2004. This is on www.dailymotion, and you get a chance to see the late, great, one and only Eddie Guerrero in action against the Beast Incarnate. Holy smokes, this match is from 2004. It's 2017 now. Just look at the transition, the progression that Brock has made, but he was always awesome even back in the day, and Eddie Guerrero, one of the best to ever lace up a pair of boots, and that's the bottom line. Hey, man, like I told you guys, there's a new season of Broken Skull Challenge starting production next month. Whatever you got to do to jump through the hoops, if you're still trying to get on board through the casting process, it's going to be harder than hell, and I will be there every second of every minute of every hour of the day pushing you to do your best if you got what it takes to come out. Go to cmt.com, and that means I'm going to be having a bunch of brand new badass shirts coming to ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin. We're working on the new designs right now so I can wear them during the filming, which is going to start up, give or take, late July. And if you're looking for the best IPA on the planet because you've been out in the sun, get the Broken Skull IPA from El Segundo Brewing Company. Stop by the brewery if you're in L.A. Pick it up at Whole Foods and Total Wines if you're in Cali. Or order it from InsideTheCellar.com if you live in a state that they ship to. And I got one more thing to tell you about. I got my own page at Amazon, and that's where you can find the Cold Steel Broken Skull knife and the new Working Man's knife. Just go to Amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin. And thanks for supporting all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show. That is how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. And you can find all my sponsors at PodcastOne.com. Just click on the Killer Deals button at the top of the page and then click on the Steve Austin Show banner. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Steve Austin BSR. Hey, folks, the 60-second AP News headlines are coming up next. Until then, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
Thanks for listening to The Steve Austin Show. Check out new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast One app or subscribe at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.